Well, then don't think.
That's your advice, don't think.
Okay, yeah, don't think.
Let me tell you about Calder Reyes. Calder wasn't speeding. His tail light was out. That was it. Blue lights came on, the officer leaned in, and within 30 seconds Calder heard the 3 questions that change everything. Have you been drinking? Any drugs in the car? Any guns? Calder froze. Not because he was guilty, because just like you, no one trains you for that moment. Your mind goes blank. Your heart speeds up, and every word suddenly feels dangerous. I've seen this exact situation ruin clean records and cost people their freedom. Not because of what they did, but because of what they said. Today, I'm going to show you how you can handle that moment calmly, professionally, and legally, without breaking the law or making things worse. Stay with me. If you're new here, like this video, subscribe, and let's protect you before the next traffic stop. 1. Questions that change everything. You get pulled over and everything feels ordinary until the questions arrive. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts scatter. You want the moment to end quickly. I see this reaction every week in my practice. You feel pressure to answer fast, sound cooperative, and prove innocence. That pressure creates risk before you realize it. In that silence, your brain searches for the safest words. Fear clouds judgment. You assume sincerity guarantees safety. Roadside encounters operate differently. Officers evaluate tone, timing, and confidence. Your words shape perception immediately. You deserve awareness before this moment ever happens, because preparation decides outcomes long before a report reaches court. I have represented people with clean records whose lives changed during this pause. They panicked. They filled silence with explanations. Each sentence narrowed options. You deserve better tools. You deserve clarity when authority stands at your window with a body camera recording every breath and gesture. Preparation changes everything. You enter the encounter with intention rather than emotion. You slow the moment down. You choose restraint over reaction. Control returns to you. Calm delivery communicates confidence and credibility far more than hurried explanations ever could. This section gives you that mindset. When a question arrives, you stay grounded. You protect your future through discipline. Fear loses influence when preparation leads. Knowledge becomes your advantage during the most stressful seconds of a roadside stop. 2. How police build cases. You experience a traffic stop as a conversation, yet law enforcement treats it as structured information gathering. Every question follows training. Every pause receives meaning. Officers listen for wording, certainty, hesitation, and emotional shifts. Your answers become raw material for reports written later, often hours after the stop, shaped carefully and supported by body camera footage. This system exists for a reason. Courts allow officers to rely heavily on driver statements when forming reasonable suspicion and probable cause. Legal history shows how roadside words echo far beyond the shoulder of the road. In Miranda versus Arizona, the Supreme Court explained how statements made during police encounters carry lasting legal consequences, even when delivered casually or under stress. You feel pressure to appear cooperative. You want to sound respectful. You worry silence creates tension. That emotional pressure pushes people to talk. Law enforcement training anticipates this reaction. Questions about alcohol, substances, or weapons guide escalation paths deliberately. Each answer either narrows authority or expands it. Officers document tone as much as content. A confident denial reads differently than a hesitant explanation. Inconsistencies gain attention. Certainty creates expectations. When later facts clash with earlier words, credibility suffers. Reports emphasize those conflicts because courts rely on them. Understanding this structure changes your mindset. You stop reacting emotionally and start responding strategically. You speak with intention. You limit exposure. You remain calm and professional. Knowledge restores balance during encounters designed to test composure under pressure. Preparation gives you control. When you know how cases form, you choose restraint over impulse. You protect yourself by understanding the system rather than fighting it emotionally. Awareness transforms you from a passive participant into an informed decision maker during every roadside interaction. 3. Alcohol, the silent trap. Alcohol questions raise stakes immediately. You hear the words and feel judgment settle in. Many people answer casually, believing honesty earns leniency. That belief creates vulnerability. Admissions regarding alcohol open investigative paths and trigger procedures that escalate quickly during any roadside stop. Officers already rely on observation. Smell, balance, eye movement, and speech patterns guide decisions. Your words add confirmation. Once confirmation exists, standardized evaluations follow. Field exercises, devices, and delays become part of the encounter. Early admissions rarely disappear from reports or recordings. You protect yourself through restraint. Silence prevents self-supplied evidence from shaping the narrative. Calm repetition maintains professionalism. You slow the encounter by refusing rushed answers. Preparation removes panic from the moment entirely. Controlled delivery signals confidence. You avoid emotional explanations. You rely on structure rather than instinct. One composed response outweighs long explanations every time. Discipline keeps focus narrow and limits exposure. Practice builds certainty. When pressure arrives, your response flows naturally. You leave knowing you protected yourself wisely. Alcohol questions lose power when preparation guides your words and preserves your future. 4. Drugs. Certainty is dangerous. Drug questions sound simple, yet carry serious risk. You believe certainty helps close the topic. That impulse creates exposure. Vehicles pass through many hands daily. Friends ride along. Valets park cars. Mechanics access interiors. Total knowledge of contents rarely exists during real-life driving. Officers frame questions broadly and seek definitive answers. Definitive answers create leverage. If anything appears later, earlier certainty damages credibility. Courts compare statements with discoveries carefully. Differences invite suspicion and escalate authority during searches and detentions. You protect yourself through disciplined restraint. Calm refusal avoids traps. You remain courteous and composed. You preserve options for legal counsel later. Silence limits scope and prevents contradictions from forming. Tone matters. Even delivery communicates confidence. Brief responses reduce interpretation. You guide the encounter away from speculation by avoiding assumptions about items beyond your control. Preparation gives you control during stress. You avoid self-created problems. You maintain dignity throughout the encounter. You leave knowing pressure never dictated your words. Discipline during these moments shapes outcomes long after flashing lights fade. If this information helps you, take a second to like the video and subscribe so you stay prepared for real-life situations like this. 5. Firearms trigger escalation. Firearm questions change tone instantly. You feel the shift when the officer asks. Body language tightens. Hands move closer to equipment. Your answer influences safety protocols within seconds. As a lawyer, I see calm stops transform fast once weapons enter discussion. You deserve awareness before that moment arrives on the roadside. Courts recognize this sensitivity. In Terry versus Ohio, 1968, the Supreme Court explained how officer safety concerns justify heightened caution during encounters involving potential weapons. That ruling shapes modern stops. When firearms appear in conversation, officers operate under expanded authority and heightened alertness for their protection. State laws vary widely. Some states require disclosure during contact. Others allow silence unless asked directly. You carry responsibility to know your local rules before driving. Preparation prevents panic. Research removes guesswork. Knowledge keeps you compliant while preserving your position during stressful exchanges. Honesty becomes required only where law demands disclosure. In those moments, clarity and brevity matter. You state facts calmly and stop speaking. Extra detail invites misinterpretation. Professional delivery signals control rather than threat. You maintain composure while officers adjust procedures. You gain confidence by planning ahead. You understand escalation triggers. You respect safety concerns while protecting your future. When you handle firearm questions with preparation, you guide the encounter rather than reacting emotionally under pressure and flashing lights late at night. 6. The Fifth Amendment Shield. The Fifth Amendment offers powerful protection during police encounters. You hold the right to remain silent when questions invite self-incrimination. This protection applies during traffic stops, roadside questioning, and informal conversations. Silence here reflects wisdom, preparation, and professionalism rather than defiance or hostility. You may worry silence sounds aggressive. Reality proves otherwise. Courts recognize this right as fundamental. Judges regularly state the Fifth Amendment protects innocent people from harmful misunderstandings. You use it to avoid confusion, misquotes, and assumptions built from incomplete answers. Delivery matters. You speak calmly. You maintain respectful tone. You repeat your response consistently. Emotional explanations weaken clarity. Silence paired with politeness sends a clear message. You choose control over impulse. You choose strategy over stress. This approach works across topics. Alcohol questions lose momentum. Substance inquiries stall. Broad fishing questions fade. Officers move forward with available observations rather than your words. You limit exposure while remaining lawful and composed throughout the encounter. Practice builds confidence. Rehearsal removes hesitation. When pressure arrives, you respond smoothly. You protect your freedom, record, and future through one disciplined phrase. Preparation transforms fear into clarity during moments designed to test composure and judgment. 7. Mistakes that destroy defenses. The first mistake involves over-explaining. You feel nervous and fill silence with details. Extra words create opportunities for conflict. Small inconsistencies appear suspicious once written in reports. You intend clarity, yet detail works against you. Officers document selectively. Cameras capture fragments. Brevity protects you far better than long explanations ever will. Another common error involves humor. Jokes feel harmless in stressful moments. Officers interpret them differently. Sarcasm reads poorly in written narratives. Body cameras preserve tone without context. What feels lighthearted becomes evidence of attitude later. Professional delivery serves you far more effectively during serious encounters. Volunteering information creates lasting harm. People mention past behavior, believing transparency helps. Statements about prior drinking or substance use expand scope instantly. Those comments invite deeper investigation and broader authority. Silence prevents doors from opening that never needed opening. Certainty without full knowledge creates another trap. You assume control over every item in a vehicle. Real life proves otherwise. Passengers, borrowed cars, valet parking, and repairs introduce unknowns. Confident denials create expectations. When reality differs, credibility suffers immediately. Emotional reactions also damage outcomes. Raised voices, defensive posture, or rushed speech attract attention. Officers note behavior carefully. Calm tone signals control. Even pacing communicates confidence. Discipline protects you when pressure rises. You avoid these mistakes through preparation. You practice restraint. You maintain professionalism. You preserve defenses for legal counsel later. Minutes at the roadside shape months or years afterward. When you control words, tone, and pace, you protect your future deliberately and effectively. Key takeaways that protect you. Every traffic stop tests preparation, composure, and discipline. You gain safety through restraint, clarity, and intention. Questions about alcohol, substances, or weapons exist to gather leverage. Your words either limit that leverage or expand it. You protect yourself by understanding structure before pressure arrives. Silence delivered professionally preserves options and reduces risk. Preparation removes panic and replaces it with confidence. Tone matters as much as content. Brief responses carry strength. Explanations create exposure. Humor weakens credibility. Certainty without full knowledge creates danger. Researching state laws gives you control, especially regarding firearms. The Fifth Amendment remains a powerful shield when used calmly and consistently. You remain respectful while protecting your future. Every encounter rewards preparation over impulse. When you practice responses ahead of time, fear loses influence. You walk away knowing you handled the moment wisely, legally, and professionally. Outro. Traffic stops happen fast. Pressure arrives without warning. What you do in those few minutes can affect years of your life. You now have tools that most people never learn until damage is done. Preparation gives you confidence. Knowledge gives you control. Practice these principles so you respond smoothly when the moment comes. If this video helped you, support the channel. Like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss guidance that protects you in your future. Stay prepared, stay calm, and always move with intention.